Well, hello everyone. Oh, I feel like my camera's crooked. That's okay. We'll be looking down at my project in a minute. And I've got a light behind me. It's really bad. We're moving house very, very soon. In fact, in the next couple of weeks. So we've got boxes everywhere. I've shifted so that we could have a different background to look at because the rest of the house is Anyway, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have joined us here on the live, I will try and answer any questions that you've got. Even if you're watching the replay, let us know any questions you have down below. I'm going to be doing some staining and sealing today using Artisan's new stain and seal product, and I'm so excited about it. There are six different colours in the range, and so if you're from Australia, you can get that here on my website, irestorestuff.com, or in my shop booth if you're in Brisbane area at the Camphill Antique Centre. So let's go. We are doing today, working on a project of an IKEA step stool, and I've the colour on here, let me just point the camera down so it's less light there. The colour on here is gorgeous. It's actually a Artisan Mineral Paint in the colour Lagoon. So it's a gorgeous green, real teal sort of green, beautiful colour. So what I've got here is I'll put that down for a second because we're going to choose, you're going to help me choose a stain colour to put on the IKEA stool, the step part. I call it a seat, that top bit, but it's probably really a step. Anyway, as you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm just going to pop my video on my laptop so I can see any comments coming through because sometimes they don't show up here on my phone. So let me know. Are you from Australia? Are you from the US? Pop your comments down below. And let's get started. So I'll show you the board that I've been working on. I had a little play earlier today featuring some background interesting things. Okay, so I've got here a board that I've started to stain using these colours. This is just, ignore that little patch there. There was must have been a sticker on the board, which has kind of made things a bit messy. But I just, see, when you're moving, I've packed a lot of things. And so even wood, it was hard to come by in our garage. But I've started here doing some of the stains. This is the darkest one, obviously, right through to the whitewash. But now with this Artisan Stain and Seal, it is a water-based product. So fun to use. It's easy cleanup. Guys, you can use your sponges. We've got the Artisan sponge here that you can use. You can use one side, then use the other side for a different colour. They are excellent. They're on my shop. Also, I've got these little microfiber lint-free sponges as well, so you can use those. And because it's water-based, you can wash these out and literally use them again once they're completely dry. If you get all the stuff out, they're good. Anyway, I've got all my colours here. Let me turn them around to face the camera, although you can't see those just yet. I'll be working on these little boards here. Now, the idea is that you stir up the mixture. I've got some of these with a first coat on. You will want to do extra coats because, as you can see, it is quite light. But this one, you may like it this light, or you might. This one's called Provincial. It's actually quite a dark grey tone, and you may want to do 3 or 4 coats on that, depending on your depth and the darkness that you like. So let's get started with one of these. These are brown, fruitwood and walnut. You can sort of see the difference there. Oh, Mary's here from Kansas. We've got some American friends on today, probably following me via my lives that I usually do over on Essential Stencil. I'm doing a live there tomorrow, ladies. So if you haven't still got your 4th of July sale products, then use my code for that. That'll be fun. All right, so let's have a look using this sponge here on the fruitwood. Now what I've done is I've stirred that really well with a stick. Let me just actually show you that. So this is the fruitwood. And I wanted to show you just the consistency there. So look at that. It's quite thick. And it is a water-based stain and seal. So you're staining and sealing all in one. So that's the fruitwood colour. It's sort of a lightish brown as opposed to the walnut that I'll be doing next. So this is just on a stick, and let's use the sponge there, super sponge, and wipe that off the stick. You can see the little stain showing up there on the stick. Whoop. And I'm just going to rub that in. Whoops, I've got that on there. Rub that into the plain pine colour. And then just use nice long strokes. So this is how I'll be doing my IKEA stool in a minute. Nice long strokes. So see, the original is quite light, and there we've got a nice fruitwood colour. So that's the colour fruitwood. And then if you wanted that to be darker. And so the other thing I'd like to mention too, hi Angela, how are you? The other thing I'd like to mention is that, totally forgot what I was going to mention. That's what I was going to say. It will turn out different, the tones will turn out different on different coloured woods. Okay, so for example, this is a really dark old pine that's been sitting around for a while, and you know, pine sort of tends to go a little bit golden colour, whereas this is a really bright white wood. So if I'm putting one of these stains on this colour wood, it's going to turn out different than if I put it on this colour. So for example, the lime wash, so the lime wash is white, like a whitewash, beautiful. It's not going to show up as much on this blonde wood, but it will show up nicely on this. So just keep that in mind when you're staining things, that depending on the wood, so I've got all these are on really, I'm going to use the other side here, and I have stirred up this earlier, so this is the colour walnut, so a nice dark brown. Let me just do partial colour there so you can see that's just one coat. So we will go over that with a second coat. And I haven't conditioned this wood, so it's just, you know, been sawn, and you can probably see saw marks and things like that, but that'll be adding character because you can see that'll be darker on those sides where the grain is quite rough and lifted up, and lighter on the side where it's not. So you've got to take all these things into consideration when you're staining anything. There's so many good tips that we could give. I'd probably have to write a book to get them all, which I've only learnt by, you know, trial and error. Hi Mari, is it Marie or Mari? Welcome, thanks for watching the live. Okay, so that is the colour walnut. So it's a nice darker, a bit darker brown than the fruitwood. You can see that here. Let's compare sort of those sides. So it's sort of a darkish antique brown. Then there's this colour onyx. Now I love it. You can see it over here. I've done it on this section. I've divided this wood up into the 6 different colours, and I've only given one coat to all of these. So you can see that onyx has a really strong dark colour, whereas the others are quite light and will need a second coat on this board that was quite sort of yellowish to begin with. So they're not going to be as noticeable on those woods that have different colour tones in them. Again, I've stirred this up. If you're just joining me, hi Alison. Now Alison, welcome, welcome. Diane's here from Melbourne, Diane Simpson. Welcome. Alison is actually the owner of Artisan Paint Company. So I'm so excited that she's here to watch my live, and please Alison, join in if there's any tips and tricks that you would like to share with us. So this is the colour onyx, gorgeous dark black, and I'm just using a section that I haven't used before. I have stirred this up, and remember, if you joined me at the beginning of the live, you can go back and watch the replay. I've actually shown you how you can mix and stir them up with a wood stick, and they're a nice thick. So again, I'll mention that I didn't prep this wood at all. If you are using raw wood, sometimes you can get that patchiness if you don't condition the wood. So with these are just like literally I can feel some rough bits of grain. So this would be a rough patch of grain. This would be a little bit more smooth. So if you want to condition your wood, if you're using a new piece of wood, that'll make those areas less patchy. I do love that dark black color. So again, it's water-based. So I'm getting a bit of a mess here on my hands, but I have a wet cloth that I can wipe them with. But it will wash out and rinse out. Now you could apply it with a brush if you wanted to. Yes, Alison's mentioning that 2 coats makes a big difference. So as you can see, I've got 1 coat on all of my little sample board here at the back, and now I've got 1 coat on all of these. Now I've just done these. We'll allow those to dry, and let's go on with putting a second coat on our Provincial, which is a gorgeous grey colour. So I've put these together, Provincial and Driftwood. So you can see a light grey, a darker grey, and then we've got the whitewash, and in our browns we've got the walnut, very dark, and fruitwood, a nice light brown colour, and then of course onyx, the black stains. So we have mixed up our Provincial, and you could use a lint-free cloth or a sponge. You could even use a roller, but what I do recommend is, I'm going to have to sit down guys, my back is hurting. So you can use a roller if you wanted to, but I always like to I tend to prefer to use a sponge when I'm doing any kind of staining work, just because I like to get it right down into the grain. So this one has one coat already, but let's put on a second coat and just see the difference down on that second section there. It will build up the colour to more of a depth. So we're just rubbing that in and then going along the grain with nice long strokes. It will feel like a sealer, so to me you can feel, you know, when you just get that tackiness, if you brush it over too much, you've got to be fairly quick about it. You don't just want to dilly-dally around. So there's our beautiful Provincial colour. I do like that. So keep in mind, if you want to, Mary says, I wish we had Artisan brand in the USA. Thank you, Alison, that's awesome. So yeah, if you do want to use these, I suggest, there's our second coat there, looking absolutely beautiful. I think you are going to have to help me to choose a colour for our IKEA step stool down there. Again, we've mixed up this with our stirring stick there. I'm going to use a different section of my sponge, and you can see there's the back here. We'll ignore the little burnt stool stripes there. This is going to be the driftwood colour. And then you can sort of see that light grey. Let's see if we can just deepen that light grey a little more using our second coat. Whoop. It is a bit harder working on these tiny boards. But you can see a nice depth there, and it is a nice finish. I do love working with water-based products. Whoops, I got some fluff on there from my, so much for a lint-free. I should have rubbed it a bit before I worked with it. Alison's saying, because it seals as it goes, if you have unevenness due to the original timber, you can layer the stain so it has extra coverage on the lighter areas. That's a good point. So when I was talking before about the grain being open and you can see patchiness, so a great idea is, and Alison, I'm assuming that you could probably use our flat matte sealer, the clear sealer, as a bit of a primer to do that and to make the grain kind of sit. So there we go, there's that. So make the grain kind of sealed before you then put your sealer and stain over the top of that. Is that correct? Yes, you have to work quickly, but you can also mist it. Now we've got water misters, and I forgot to bring mine out today, but yeah, to do that you can use, and don't shake like I'm doing, just stir it with a stick. I have got my little sticks here that I've been stirring them with. I did a little bit before. Okay, using another section here, let's go turn it over, and using our whitewash, which does, I can see the difference, but see how it's just a little bit more plain here, but a little bit blonder here. So let's go on with that. Whoop, probably need some more. And we're going with our whitewash. I love the sheen. Now, some people might ask, what sort of finish is it? It's actually an eggshell type finish, not a flat dead matte, but it is a lovely, lovely sheen. You can see it's shining now, but that's mainly because it's wet. Once it dries, it'll dry to a matte to eggshell type of finish. Yeah, so Alison's confirming there that you can use all the sealers together. So in our sealing range, we've got pearl sealer, we've got a gloss sealer and a flat matte sealer. So you can use all of those together. So see how now we can see a little bit more of a change in our 6 colours here. Being these two probably being the ones where because they're similar tones in the natural wood to what those are, They are, oh yeah, I can see the difference. We've got, yeah. This one is walnut, the darker brown. So if you got a few more coats on that, that would look similar. So what colour do you reckon, guys, for my IKEA step stool? We've got that green tones. Let me just pop you up to see what we've got here. This is the one. We're going to do this seat. Maybe I'll just do the seat on our live, and then I will do the step another time, since the camera is reaching right there onto the seat. All right, so I like this green colour. So the green colour, let me show you, is called Lagoon. It's an Artisan Mineral Paint, and I've taped it off earlier, but I can see that the tape's falling off right here. I taped it in there. I'm just going to have to be careful as I do this. I'm usually pretty careful, excuse me, when I paint, not to get it on everything. Any pickers on a colour that I should use? So the colours we've got is Onyx is the black colour, and then we've got walnut, we've got fruitwood, the brown, we have Provincial. I'm leaning towards this. I like that Provincial, and we've got driftwood, a lighter grey, and then we've got the whitewash, which I probably wouldn't use on this because it's not really going to take a great effect because it's quite a blonde wood to start with. Whitewood is the kind of thing that I would use on a darker colour. Another great point I want to bring up is that you can use these sealers over an existing painted finish, not waxed, but painted. So if you had something waxed, you would have to get rid of the wax first. I've got this board that's pre-painted. Now, this board is painted so long ago. I'll just pop that down here so we can work on it. So long ago, I think it's a milk paint. Okay, so let me just show you over here, for example, actually, maybe on this end here where it is a little bit whiter anyway. We've got this white lime wash, and I might just use that on the end of here to show you how it can change the effect, almost like a white wax. You can use a white wash over a bright colour, so this red, and there's a knot in the wood right here, so let's have a look at that. And you can use the white wash over, so see how I'm using it nice and long strokes with the grain, and you can see how it's getting into the grains of that knot right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's really hard to tell on the camera, but you can see little tiny white bits in there. So as that dries, we'll do a second coat, and that whitewash will come up beautifully on there, giving it a whitewashy feel. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let me see. Alison says Provincial or walnut. And just a note, we purposely made the stains not too intense as the colour builds up, and recommend 2 to 3 coats. Yes, you can get the desired colour that you like then, because you can then apply another coat of sealer if you think you'd want extra protection, but absolutely, yeah, I like that. It's a little bit of a whitewash. The light is probably not letting you see as well, but here's our colours, and I'll pop that here, lift up our stool, and I think that I will go with that Provincial colour, you know, where is it? Yeah, it's a dark grey, and this is the sample board we did. That's now 2 coats of the Provincial. And I'm just going to use my applicator. Now, you can get these on the website as well as our super sponges. They're only a few dollars extra, so add them into your order. If you're ordering here in Australia, it's irestorestuff.com. We've got Australia-wide shipping on all of the Artisan range, and that includes these gorgeous new water-based stain and seals. Okay, so where did I pop that? Where did I put it? I put it back down. Provincial, that's what we're going with, guys. Yeah, Mary says she likes the Provincial too. Now remember, I've stirred this earlier. We've got our same colour ready to go. So when I'm working on, and look, I haven't conditioned this wood either, so we may get some patchiness. Let's see, we'll see. I'll try and get this around the front so that you guys can see here. And as we were saying, we do have to work fairly quickly. And yes, you can use a brush, and if you're using a brush, the way that I would do it is apply and then wipe off the excess. So as we were saying, you are going to be adding and then wiping off any excess, letting it dry and applying a second or a third coat. So let's do this one. Oh, can you see there? Here we go. That's a bit better. We'll be able to see what we're doing here. See, we do have a little bit of patchiness, but again, what I was saying with the got to get in there too. With any stains, it doesn't matter what stain you're using. If you have some raw wood and it's like pine or something like that, you may have to use a conditioner, a wood conditioner, or one of our flat matte sealers to just seal your project first, and then it won't get quite as patchy. So we can see a bit of a difference there. Got the light. So there's the top where I haven't done. Here's the Provincial where I have done. And here we go, just on this top section here. I'm going to rub it in and get it going with the grain there. Just doing the front of this seat. Now I will probably, I'll do these ends. Now the end grain is always going to turn out the darkest when you're doing stains, because it's the end grain. It's where the roughest part of the timber is cut, and so that will show up quite dark compared to the others. So you may not need a second coat on that end grain. So just remembering, turn this around so we can see the other side. If you've got any painting related questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy, even if you're watching the replay, happy to answer those for you. And if you're from the USA, I am going to be live on Essential Stencils page tomorrow. And I'm trying to think of something to do with the new little houses that we've got. Just arrived in the mail today. New little wooden houses, which I might even stain with some of these. Be fun. Okay, so that's getting a little bit sticky. You can just kind of tell. I should wear gloves for this job. I should wear gloves. Okay, so we'll get a little bit of a hairdryer on that and then do a second coat. And you can see the difference, I'll show you that in just a second, between the top and then the stool. So there's, I'll hold it back a little bit. Not too patchy, I'm happy with that. And then there's the blonde wood on the step, and there's the sort of, I call it the seat part, but it is the top step and the bottom step. You can see the difference. One's been finished and one's not. So I'll just hit that with the hairdryer. Hit me with any questions you've got, and I will be happy to answer those. So there's 6 different colours in the stain and seal range. Wow, that dries really fast, even faster with a hairdryer. So that's the Provincial. Now, in between coats, I'll show you that too. You just want to get, because that sort of opens the grain of the wood when you're when you're wetting it, basically. So you want to just get a fine grit sandpaper. And I use, if you do have our Sandy Hands gloves, you would use your 2000 grit. I'm pretty sure this is, yes, this is a 2000 grit, or you could just use a 400 grit, doesn't really matter. Or, you know what some people use is the brown paper, scrunched up brown paper. It's about the same as a really smooth 2000 grit. So I'm just going to go over that now. Now that that's dry. And it's not sanding away any of the sealer, it's just taking away that roughness on the edges. So we're just talking about sealing if you've just joined us. Alison says, I don't like waiting. Well, I don't like having to make people wait on my lives either. So if this was not on a live, I would literally just let it wait and do another project. Hey, do another project while you're waiting. So that's nice and smooth again now. Now we can go on with our second coat, and we're doing Provincial. It's a nice dark grey. And again, let me just show you the difference there. That's the top where we've done. It says dark grey, but what I mean is it's a stain. So the tones are dark, but it's still looking a bit light on the wood because it's a stain. It's not a paint. Okay, so let's go ahead with our second coat. And now it should have sort of sealed in that. Oops, I do have a little bit of fluff coming off this. See how that's a little bit darker now? Can you see that? So we're building up the colour slowly with each coat. And again. I need to get this front bit too, don't I? Now I can't see the front, so I'm hoping that someone will tell me if I've messed up. Okay. We've done half, just making sure you get those edges because sometimes it'll trickle on the edges. Look, can you see the difference now with between one coat and two coats? There we go. So one coat on the top, two coats on the bottom, no coats on that bottom step right there. So see the difference there. There's the step, here's the two coats, and there's the one coat on the top. So if you've just joined me, we are using Artisan's Stain and Seal in the colour Provincial. If you're watching if you missed the beginning, hi Debbie. Yeah, if you missed the beginning, you'll be able to go back and watch that when the live is finished. So you can see where we've done some testing on some blank pieces of wood. All right, going for the top part here. Whoops, I've got to be able to see this. Just going to tip it a little bit right now. And then one more bit. So I'm just using an applicator. And you can get, there's a couple of different types of applicators you can get off our website. Got Australia-wide shipping. And you've got to work sort of quickly because you don't want it to be too tacky. Once it starts to get tacky, just stop and just making sure that you've got it all even. Let me just have a look. We've got some patches here where those little bits inside there are the end grain as well, so they'll look a little bit patchy if they're dark. Okay, trying not to get that on the paint. There we go. So that's two coats now. Hold it back so you can see of the Provincial, and there's the blonde wood down the bottom. So I'll be matching that up later. You may want to have three coats on there. You might think, oh, I like that grey. I like the way it's turning out. So let's add a third coat. So see how you can just change the number of coats and make it your own. Make it to how you want it to be. Whether it's a dark tones or light tones. That is the Provincial. So let me just hold that back. Again, we've got blonde wood down here and the greyish Provincial up the top. Now, I do love the onyx. I'm just going to pop that down for a second. The onyx is the black colour. I'll show you these that we worked on earlier. Again here, we've got the onyx, the black, the walnut, fruitwood Provincial that we just used, driftwood, which is very light grey, and the lime wash, correct. Let me have a look. I just was going to also stain a little bit on this older wood. So this isn't so blonde. So let's have a look at that. And I may do, I just like this onyx. I love the darkness of it. So let's turn that over. I think I did this side, or I might have done it here. I used this one. And let's just do a little bit of onyx on the side of this box. So when you're doing it on an old, yeah, it builds up. The onyx is probably the darkest one, so this is an older box, just a little something I picked up at an op shop. I love to just collect old boxes and recycle them. I sometimes use them for my stenciling projects and make them into something fun that I can sell in my shop at the Camphill Antique Centre. All right, so we've got our onyx colour here. Just going to put a little bit on the end of the sponge. Remember, we've stirred it all up nicely. And oops, got to just dip this up a bit. And here we go, rubbing that in. Oh, I just love a good black stain. This one's awesome. There we go. So that's what it looks like on sort of old wood. There we go. Oh, look at that grain. Can you see that? Let me just pop that up close. Get the light a bit better. There we go. I've got a shadow there. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the original. It's just an old box. It looks like raw timber. I think it had some kind of giftware in it or something, you know, with straw and then put little things in it. I just emptied it out. I think it'll make a great little caddy. You can add some little handles onto the end of it. You could stencil something fun on there. Great little box. So that's the original color there, and there's the onyx. Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't that come out? Yeah, thanks Donna. Yeah, it is pretty. Comes out beautifully on that grain, doesn't it? I feel tempted to do different colors each side, but I won't. I'll make it all uniform, make it all the same. In fact, let's see if we've still got enough on there. Nope, we'll just add a bit more of the onyx, and we'll do that end. Now this has got some end grain on it down there on the sides. So rubbing in. If you need more, you can always add more. Almost looks like a burnt timber, doesn't it? Like it's been charred. Gorgeous. I love it. So then if you wanted to, you could add a clear flat mat sealer on the top. You know, our flat mat sealers actually come in a pot now instead of the bottle. So either way, you can use the pot, or you can use the flat mat sealer, or you can use, now these come in 200 ml pots. Beautiful. I do recommend though decanting a little bit into a jar before you use it, so you're not sort of contaminating the paint with whatever you're doing each time. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, guys, so I hope that you have enjoyed that. It does, Donna, it makes the grain go pop. I love it. That's all the best things about having a stain and sealer all in one. And I hope you've learnt something today. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial about using stain and seal. Now remember that it is a water-based product. So, oops, I can feel that's just slightly tacky still on our stool. It's a water-based product, so the wash up with your brushes, your sponges, and etc. is just water. So you can reuse those sponges, or you can just use them as a one-off, but they're very cheap to just order. You can get that from irestorestuff.com. Our new stain and seal range ready for you. If you're in Australia, that is. So we ship Australia-wide from iRestore Stuff. And you can pick those up also if you're in the Brisbane area at the Camp Hill Antique Centre upstairs in my booth there. We've got all the full range of artisan products. They're chalk finishes, they're mineral paints, all of these sealers, and now the stain and sealer, and excited to soon have their Jelly Bean Brights range, which is a chalk finish as well. What else do we have? We've got all of the brushes as well. I forgot to mention, Artisan has a range of these gorgeous synthetic bristle, tapered bristle brushes that are really excellent. All of that and more. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time we go live here on the iRestore Stuff page. If you are from the US, join me on Essential Stencils page for some fun stenciling projects tomorrow, because I'm going to be probably using something for our little house. Look at these cute little wooden houses. Aren't they adorable? So if you are from the USA, come and join me, because I think I want to do something fun with these. Oh, how cute. Alrighty, thanks guys. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, we'll see you later. Bye.